Ms. Pat VanDusen. I apologize if I didn't say your last name correctly. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Pat VanDusen, and I wish to read into the record this evening a statement prepared by my husband, Jerry VanDusen, who is unable to attend in person because he teaches classes on Monday night. Following the Columbine tragedy in 1999, school districts across the country instituted new security measures to protect our children from dangers outside and within. Among the many measures taken were transparent backpacks, security guards, coded identification, metal detectors, and security cameras. Perhaps the most universally adopted measure was to keep the entrances locked. Nobody enters without clear and appropriate identification. I would ask the board members to consider the following incident I witnessed in the spring of 2012. Power was out at my daughter's house on this particular morning, and she called to ask me if I could run my grandson over to Webster a little late. I followed school protocol by bringing my grandson in his wheelchair to the main entrance. I was buzzed in. I signed in at the main office, placed a visitor badge on my coat lapel, and as I was preparing to wheel Jaden to his regular classroom, as I had done on previous occasions when we arrived early or on time, in fact, during the months of September, October, and the first part of November, I accompanied Jaden to Webster each morning. So I was well known to office staff and school administrators. However, on this occasion, in the spring of 2012, on the day we were running late, I was intercepted by Shelley Moore, the Webster school principal, who insisted upon escorting me to Sharon Terbiak's classroom, even though she clearly recognized me and knew I could find the classroom. At the time, it did not strike me as particularly odd. I assumed it was more of a gesture of courtesy. In any event, down the twisting corridors we went until we arrived at Jaden's preschool classroom. Shelley Moore reached for the door handle, but it was locked from within. She knocked on the door, and Sharon Terbiak opened it, and I wheeled Jaden into the classroom. No words were exchanged that I remember between the principal and the teacher to suggest why would this room be locked. And it never occurred to me that it could develop into an issue. My first question for the board is, what specific policy and what specific procedures are in place within this school district for the classroom teacher to follow should he or she wish to lock the classroom door from within and thereby requiring a key to open the door from the outside? In light of the repeated instances of alleged professional misconduct by Sharon Terbiak and her parapro, my deep concern about why and when they would lock the classroom becomes obvious. Was it to protect their students who might otherwise wander into the hallway, or was it to protect themselves from the prying eyes of the individuals such as myself, who might wander into the classroom unannounced after the bell and discover a child might be locked in the bathroom as part of timeout punishment, or see a young child who could not speak be manhandled? There is evidence to suggest that rehabilitation was attempted well before these incidences during the spring were witnessed. I am amazed at what I can only term their brazenness to abuse so many kids in the presence of a number of witnesses. So now I further refine the earlier question. Do classroom teachers exercise independent authority with respect to locked classroom doors, or are there specific protocols that govern such decision-making? Everyone who has followed this story, in which several witnesses observed various acts of physical, verbal, and emotional abuse at the hands of a veteran special needs teacher and her parapro, are chilled by all that has unfolded and are concerned about what might still unfold. And despite the parade of character witnesses on behalf of Sharon Terbiak, people who cannot believe or refuse to believe that these incidences ever really occurred, there is an even deeper mystery for many of us. For how long did this egregious behavior occur? What were the earliest reported complaints and known misconduct? How in the world were all these events allowed to spin so obviously out of control until an internal report by Mr. Schultz laid out the case? Most frightening to me, my family, what might have occurred in that locked classroom when no observers were present? My grandson, Jaden, is the little boy who could not walk or speak for himself. Prior to enrolling Jaden at Webster, where our family was assured he would receive the special attention a medically fragile little boy who had undergone 7 delicate brain surgeries would receive, we felt greatly relieved. This evening, as I have this statement read into the record, there are simply no words that adequately reflect the emotional cost on our family, particularly my daughter, Lauren, who has labored greatly to make sure Jaden survives these early precarious years. And to think that this innocent little boy, who has depended wholly on the love and goodwill of those on whom he has been totally dependent, could have been victimized by a series of professionals, from the classroom teacher and the parapro, to the professionals who witnessed the misconduct, but failed to properly or thoroughly report it, and to the administrators who failed to take the decisive steps necessary to prevent it from continuing. Shame on everyone.
Thank you, Ms.